Hi and welcome back to Online Linguistics. Today we are going to cover the second theory of language acquisition, which is the innateness. Mentalism, also known as the theory of innateness, was introduced by Noam Chomsky in 1957 as a response to behaviorism. It suggests that the mind plays a crucial role in shaping how humans behave. Chomsky argued that the behaviorist approach lacked consideration of the mind, and he championed a mentalist perspective as essential for understanding language. Chomsky argued that behaviorists missed a fundamental issue, which he called the logical problem of language acquisition. Behaviorists believed that we learn language by imitating and getting rewards for saying things correctly. But Chomsky pointed out some major flaws in this idea. For instance, kids often say things that aren't just imitations of what adults say, like when a child says, "Nobody don't like me." It's not a perfect copy of adult speech, so imitation alone can't explain how kids learn to talk. Furthermore, Chomsky noted that kids don't get much of a grammatical complete language input from adults. Adults tend to speak in fragments and not full, perfect sentences to children. Plus, what kids hear is just a tiny slice of the entire language. So, how do they manage to produce new sentences, some of which are grammatically correct, that they have never heard before? Chomsky's big idea was that there must be something built into our brains, a kind of natural talent of language that helps children acquire language. In other words, he believed that we are born with an innate ability for language learning, and it's not just about copying what we hear. This innate faculty, he argued, is what allows kids to produce language that they have never been directly exposed to. Children are not empty slates waiting to copy the language they hear around them. Instead, they are born with an inherent ability to learn language, enabling them to independently uncover the underlying language rules. This innate capacity, known as language acquisition device or LAD, or sometimes referred to as the black box, was later termed by Chomsky as innate knowledge of universal grammar. According to mentalism, there are shared fundamental principles among all human languages, such as nouns, verbs, and adjectives. The language acquisition device has these universal language principles. To activate the LAD, a child requires exposure to natural language samples. Once activated, the child can explore the language's structure by aligning their inborn knowledge of grammatical principles with the specific structures of the language they are learning. Chomsky's theory has been subject to modifications by other scholars. Initially, Chomsky proposed that the LAD contained specific language knowledge, but Dan Isaac Slabin has suggested that it might function more as a mechanism for working out the rules of language. There are some points back up the innateness theory. Our bodies have evolved in a way that supports speech. We have a vocal tract designed for making sounds, and our brains have specialized areas dedicated solely to language. This suggests that humans may be born with the innate ability to acquire language. In some communities, people have been able to invent entirely new languages from simple ones. This demonstrates that humans have an inherent capacity for language creation and rule development, which aligns with the idea that there may be innate linguistic principle guiding this process. Deaf individuals can develop complex and grammatical sign languages that follow similar stages of acquisition as spoken languages. This suggests that the ability to acquire language is not limited to speech, but extends to sign languages as well. supporting the notion of innate language learning abilities. There are two main limitations of the innateness theory. First, Chomsky's work was mainly theoretical. He did not study real children as they interact with parents. Second, the case of Jim, who was only exposed to language without parents' interaction. Even if he had a language acquisition device, he couldn't develop a language. Well, I leave you here. If you liked the video, please subscribe, leave a comment, and thanks for watching.